Good day, Reed here. Thanks for joining me again at Orchestra Farm for my morning walkabout and thoughts I'm thinking of. Yeah, thinking thoughts is kind of usual. And check it out, spring is just greening up everything quickly. It's time to come in and do some trimming of different edges and things so you can actually access things like berries this year. That'll be yummy. And so last night I was at my men's group, and one of the topics that came up was this idea of longing, which I relate to the notion of like, what do you want in your life and desire? Longing, I think, is actually a kind of a charged emotional word, and there's a certain point of, for me, it feels like it brings an imbalance in life, and it's sometimes better to just imagine having the thing already and really focused on taking direct action in life to make it happen. Obviously, it really depends on what we're talking about wanting. And the other thing that came up was like, we do these fun quarterly accountabilities. So choose something that you want to accomplish in a quarter and make it happen. And between these two things, I've got a book that I need to finish going through the edits of, and I have an album that I also need to go through the edits of. And so my first thought is like, finish up the book edits and then have a conversation about publishing and move that ball forward. And with the album, it's like, okay, let's finish that and get it sent off for mastering. Looking at you, my brother Eric, and the interrelated with like this idea of longing is this piece of, part of why I make these videos is to be helpful and to have connection points. And in my life, you maybe have heard me speak about my brother challenge, and then probably, if you've been watching these videos for a bit, you've heard me speak of my relationship with my wife and different activities that we engage in, from our tea drinking reality to renewing our vows every year, and then equally being a father. And it's interesting with the different people in and around my life, when these topics have come up, different points of conversation, they seem to have a fair amount of interest to them. People being like, oh, I'd like to hear, more about those things and how you've, taken my relationship with my brothers from almost non-existent to we have a good, pretty good in relation, and we're thousands of miles apart. And, my relationship with my wife is, not every relationship has challenges, and I think those are good. I think we actually need to embrace challenge and, bringing up difficult. Oh, wow. Oh, it's the poplar here. Let's just take a look at this tree for a second. This tree here is the poplar, and it's budding right now. It has a glorious smell to it. Oh, that's fantastic. And if you're out there and you have poplar trees around, I have friends who gather the buds from them. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's amazing. And they put them into honey and make like poplar salves and other things. It's delicious and amazing. So if you have poplars around, check that out. And then, be able to embrace conflict, not shy away from it. Embrace disagreements and see where resolutions can come through. Anyway, with all that, I've been working on several different writing pieces, and those things, they all kind of tie together. And I'm interested in culture and this notion of, I don't see myself as like a mainstream culture person. I'm not watching Taylor Swift or any of these things, and I have no idea what's happening on television. But I do want to, create something and leave information around how I'm living my life and the things that I'm doing that assist me in that, to which I feel like each of these three categories: my relationship with my brothers, i.e. siblings, my relationship with my wife, my primary partner, and my relationship with my kids, my descendants, really seem like they fill out these aspects of having a healthy culture. And stringing them all together into a book-like substance feels like a great way for me to activate this piece that I'm looking at, where I share the different wisdoms I'm holding with others. So I'm not thinking of doing this particular challenge of like quarterly accountability to be finished writing this book, but I am looking at it as clear my decks of my other creative endeavors so that I can have more space to work on this project, and then put some more focus on that. Now, if you're interested in any of that, I would love to hear from you. Any questions, comments, otherwise that you have would be great to hear about. And here's something totally different that I'm kind of excited about. This tree that's covered in grasses is another one of these poplars. And you can see here on the top, I trimmed it back early in the spring and planted out a whole bunch of them. So this one is at like waist height, somewhere between coppicing and pollarding. And I want it to bush out. It's in the family of things that are good fodder trees. Now, I have chickens, as you've seen in different videos, but there's a blueberry here somewhere. Is that the blueberry? I guess that's the blueberry. Yep, great. I gotta tidy up around that. Lots of tidying up here. What is? And anyway, I want to explore and experiment with that. Oh yeah, a whole extra roll right there. Great. I just didn't have anything to tie down with. Huzzah. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about this morning, is lining myself up to work on that project more. And certainly don't have a time frame on it, because it seems like compared to my like poetic prose type writing, it feels much more like a, not necessarily self-help, but instructional / resource type of a book. And then I'm curious, I'm like, do I put about my relationship with the earth in there? Realistically, I feel like my relationship with my earth is actually one of these huge dynamic relationships that really helps to improve all the other ones. So those are some of what I'm thinking about today. I want to say thanks for watching the video. Thanks for subscribing to it. It really makes a big difference in my life. If you want to support me beyond that, you can go check out my website at bendingreeds.com. If you've been checking out my live streams at all, I want to say thanks so much for that. I'm having a lot of fun working out my studio space. There's more gear on the way, so we'll see if how everything flows together. And you can check out more of my music both at my website and on my Bandcamp page at bendingreeds.bandcamp.com. I also do have a book that's out called Ruminations, or Ruminations, depending on how you work with the period that's in the middle of the word. And it'd be great to sell you a copy of that. So with that, have too much fun.